Welcome back to Science Lab. The signs are happening because Jesus is coming. Before the break, we asked you the trivial question of the day, and the question was, what is Germany most known for?
Option A, machinery. Option B, mobile. Option C, military.
The correct answer is option A, machinery. The fact that Germany is making such energy deals with Russia and Iran reveals how badly it wants to distance itself from America. Many elite Germans feel their nation has now gotten all it can from the US and they are ready to move on.
Germany and Russia's secret war against America. Some powerful Germans today are thinking more and more about the Holy Roman Empire, and they want modern Germany to assume more power of its own in the spirit of that empire. They want to establish Europe as a mighty German-led superpower.
Germany is undermining the US to get Iranian oil, but that does not mean that it is a true friend of Iran. Over the past 2 decades, German arms manufacturers have sold over $3 billion worth of weapons to Iran's Sunni Arab rivals in the Middle East.
And the Bandesh War currently has over 2,000 troops involved in Middle Eastern operations. These weapon sales and strategic troop deployments are meant to strengthen Arab states in Iran's expense.
Now that horizontal drilling and hydraulic fracking technology have set America on a path to energy independence, President Trump is thinking about pulling more and more US troops out of the Middle East. This means that Germany will have to step up its military presence in this volatile region if it wants an alternative to Russian gas. The Iranians are so focused on conquering their own objectives that they don't see what the Germans are doing. They don't recognize how Germany is planning for the bigger war to come. But the facts are visible for anyone to see. Germany has expected to clash with Iran, and it has been working on a strategy for a decade or more. That strategy is almost complete. Germany has surrounded Iran. In World War I, the Kaiser, allied with Austria, sought to conquer France, Britain, and America. American industry finally bet him. In World War II, Hitler tried to conquer the world, first by taking Austria and the Sudetenland through diplomatic gangsterism, then second with lightning quick war, taking Poland, Denmark, and Norway, Holland, Belgium, and France. And third, while holding these nations by the throat with his Gestapo and allied with his junior partner Mussolini to conquer Russia on the east and Britain on the west. But again, American industry and 3 acts of God at Dunkirk, El Alamein, and the destruction of the German hydrogen bomb plant at Pineuan defeated Hitler. But this time, the Nazis planned to sidestep the cause of past defeats. Instead of exhausting their own strength by holding European nations as captives at the expense of vital Gestapo manpower, they planned to head and dominate a United States of Europe and add the manpower of those nations to their own military divisions. And secondly, they planned to strike their first blow not at France or Poland in Europe, but with hydrogen bombs by surprise attack on the centers of American industry. At Dunkirk, God miraculously saved the British Expeditionary Force by sending a dense fog to hide their evacuation back to England. At El Alamein, God miraculously caused British mobile radio interception stations to start picking up German spy reports vital to their ultimate victory. And at Pineuan, God miraculously guided Allied planes to destroy Germany's secret nuclear weapons research center. The
book of Isaiah calls modern Germany by its ancient name, Assyria. and says God will use it as the rod of mine anger, as we read in Isaiah chapter 10, verse 5. The book of Daniel refers to Germany as the king of the north and says that this king will conquer the king of the south and many other nations. And at the time of the end shall the king of the south push at him, and the king of the north shall come against him like a whirlwind, with chariots and with horsemen, and with many ships, and he shall enter into the countries, and shall overflow and pass over.
He shall stretch forth his hand also upon the countries, and the land of Egypt shall not escape. But he shall have power over the treasures of gold and of silver, and over all the precious things of Egypt. And the Libyans and the Ethiopians shall be at his steps. But tidings out of the east and out of north shall trouble him. Therefore he shall go forth with great fury to destroy, and utterly to make away many.
So these verses in the book of Daniel reveal the order in which Germany will defeat its enemies. First, German leaders will take Field Marshal Erwin Rommel's advice and conquer Iran, the Middle East, and North Africa. Then, once Germany has the vast oil resources of this region at its disposal, it will be prompted by tidings out of the east to go forth with great fury and destroy many other nations, including the US, Great Britain, and the state of Israel.
The Bible records that mankind would face extinction in a devastating nuclear war between Europe and Asia unless Jesus Christ himself intervened in world affairs.
Fortunately, the Bible records a definitive promise from God that Jesus Christ will intervene to end this madness. After accumulating 6,000 years of evil and suffering, the human race will finally be ready to listen to God and be taught His way of life.
All these show that what is mentioned in the Bible that are going to take place in the end times are taking place in our lifetime. We are living in the last days. Lord Jesus Christ is coming again very soon.
Thank you for joining us in this episode of the Science Lab, and don't forget to tune in next time. Remember, the signs are happening because Jesus is coming. Maranatha.